Local service businesses lose money advertising all the time. Here's why. It's a three-part problem: budget, time, and content. I'm going to dive into these really quick for you. Ads on Google, Meta, Bing. I have no idea why you would advertise on Bing, really. TikTok, Instagram, they all work on an inventory-based system. When you see an ad on your Instagram, Facebook, or YouTube feed, it's sandwiched in just the right place to get your attention. That inventory is actually limited. I think YouTube has gone crazy with the amount of ads they're stuffing inside of a video, but that's for a whole different conversation. Local businesses are not just competing with other companies in their community for the space either. Your potential customers are also desired by regional, national, and international companies. That limited inventory is even more limited when you factor the reach that these organizations have into your communities. There's just a lot of people, and they all are competing for the same eyeballs in the limited feed. To exacerbate the situation, since COVID, the amount of new businesses that have never advertised online before has gone up by a metric shit ton. That's an actual measurement. And I'm not saying you need a really big budget, but I am saying to compete online for business, your budget needs to be realistic. The bare minimum for your main platform should be about $100 a day, no less. And if you're doing a secondary platform for retargeting, that should be between $20 and $40 a day. Them's the breaks. I don't create these rules. And I know and have seen folks do really well with less, but the circumstances have to be just right for that to happen. And when you do have that budget, you need to have allocated at least 3 months of being able to run a campaign on that budget. That means it can't interfere with your payroll, it can't interfere with rent and supplies and all those other things. You need to have a dedicated, consistent budget. Here's why. Those marketing strategies that are the most effective, they require a consistent and sustained effort to work. Here's just some insights to why it takes time, specifically the 3-month mark. A lot of marketing campaigns operate profitably within a week to 3 weeks, but the 3 months is a hard, fast rule to get your mind right if you haven't done this before, because there are a lot of variables. Number one, did you pick the right main platform? You chose Facebook, but maybe you should have chosen Google Ads, or you chose Google Ads where maybe Facebook or Instagram might have been the better performer for you. Each platform has its own strengths and weaknesses. I recorded a video about that yesterday if you want to watch my take on it. And the data is just not clear if you've picked the right one for at least a week or two. And that's if you know what you're doing. If you're new to the game, it takes a hell of a lot longer, trust me. And even if you did pick the right platform, it takes time for people to take action. Think about the last time you saw an ad. Did you see the ad and immediately run to your phone and order it or book the service? I don't think so. Because I do this for a living, I know exactly what you did. Here's the 3 top things people do when they see an ad that's relevant for them, but they're not ready to take an action. Number 1, they share it with somebody in their household. Number 2, they save it to their phone. Number 3, they say, I'm gonna fucking remember this and get to it later. They don't. There are many stats that you can find that claim to say this is the amount of contact points you need with somebody before your ad works. These often don't factor in local service businesses, because for local service businesses, that data is shit. But in my experience, and that's a hell of a lot, it usually takes between 3 and 10, depending on the service, interactions of pull and push advertising before somebody books a call, submits a lead form, or buys the product. So first you got to understand if you're on the right platform, then you've got to give time for your ad to actually work. And the third is you need to adjust parameters when they don't work. And here are the things that you're analyzing. Is the offer correct? Is the targeting correct? Is my content on point? And that is the mother of all questions, especially here now in 2024. And since we need a lot of touch points, that content has got to be on point. The first question I usually get asked in this is, what do you mean by content? I use the word content in its broadest form, and it really means messaging that communicates what you do and who you do it for and how good you are at that thing with your audience, and it can't be stale. Your landing page is content. Your website is content. Your TikTok, your Instagram, your Facebook, your LinkedIn, all of that is content. And most of it is fueled by video. 50% of all the content you put out there should be video. And if it's not, this is one of the main reasons why no matter how much money you have and no matter how much time you have, you are underperforming when it comes to advertising and marketing. We know everyone's feeds are flooded. We know there's a giant amount of competition for the same eyeballs, and it doesn't matter how small your community is. Since eyeballs are limited, content is the true differentiator. The truth of the matter is, the best advertising campaigns I've ever been part of, and the ones that you see promoted everywhere as in case studies, usually is just adding fuel to the fire. The fuel is money on the right platforms to the right audience. The fire is great content that communicates clearly what you do and who you do it for in a way that is entertaining and shareable. The better your content is, the more shareable it's going to be, the more memorable it's going to be, and the more savable it's going to be. This lowers your long-term advertising costs greatly. Content's still a mystery to a lot of people, and there's no really cost-effective way to do it unless you do it yourself. I have a video right here of what I think every local service business owner should be running. It's an exact how-to to create that video, but focus on content. Don't focus on anything else. If the content is good, every dollar you put behind it is just gonna work. If the content is not there, it's gonna fall apart, I promise you. Quick recap of why most local service businesses lose money in the marketing and advertising space. Number one, they're underfunded. Their budget isn't the right budget for the marketplace. Number two, their campaigns aren't running long enough for people to see them and take action. And number three, they don't have enough of the right content in place to sustain that effort. Those three things are fucking difficult to get right if you haven't gone through this before, because there is a lot of experimentation. I'm going to be diving into all of this through February, but for now, I'm going to go eat some turkey burgers. See y'all tomorrow.